start by the number of the voters were 2,500 person of the whole AUC
Around this, yes.
around this number.
Yes.
Do you know this number is faculty or staff or workers or whatever?
Yes, we do have actually statistics. I don't have them exactly on me, but we have I think a good more than 1,000 were faculty and staff, and the other 1,000 and a bit were students.
How did you know that?
We had stamps, basically stamping each and every, after checking the ID and entering it into the barcode system, we stamped the ballot paper with either AUC faculty, AUC staff, or AUC student.
And who was supervising the voting
The
process?
student court was supervising. We had an elections board, and we had certain staff members.
But there is no
and
one
security.
there is no one from the administration?
No, we had no one from the administration.
So maybe
we
that
sent them a mail saying that we would like for them to send someone, so they would think this as legitimate, or they would show that they're pro, as they said, the freedom of speech, and pro the idea of acknowledging this referendum as something that's sort of telling something, but they didn't.
But maybe some people will say that the security is with you. Maybe it's not that accurate.
We have footage from the gates, and we had a faculty member attend the count, and we had a faculty member sign on the opening of the boxes. So I doubt that the whole community is plagiarizing a referendum, and that have 2,500 people participating in it.
But no one signed behind their names. How you're making sure that people are not double voting?
There's an online system. So basically what you do is that you enter the ID in the online system, and what happens is that it's registered. So for whenever someone enters the same ID from another computer on the same software, it says that it's denied. So basically no one can vote anytime more than once.
To be honest, I know someone who did voted twice. The staff ID and student ID.
Yes, because he has the right to
vote twice.
Yes.
But he's the same person.
Yes, but they're in our own elections, this is what we do. If you have two different roles, so for instance, in every elections I vote twice because I'm a double major student. I vote as a student in the anthropology major, and I vote as a student in the psychology major.
And according to which policy, SU has the right to tell the administration to leave?
According to no policy, according to the fact that we're stakeholders, and according to the fact it's not just the SU, it's the whole community basically, because the people that took part of yesterday's referendum were from all different segments of the community. So it's not really the SU at all.
But there is no real or accurate statement written in the SU rules that they can tell the administration to leave in such case, for example.
Well, yes, of course, but the AUC student constitution only applies to students. At this point, we're not just looking at ourselves as students, we're looking at ourselves as stakeholders, as people that are sort of stretching the role, or I wouldn't say stretching, actually, I'd say that we are basically fulfilling what we're supposed to do. We're a part of this community, and as a part of this community, we're seeing that something wrong is happening, and people are being sort of misled by certain information. So it doesn't actually need any rules or bylaws or constitutions, for that matter, to tell us what we need to do.
But President Lisa Anderson, as you heard, she said that it's invalid. The referendum.
Well, Dr. Lisa can say whatever she wants. I respect completely what Dr. Lisa said, but 2,500 people have said otherwise. So I find it very strange if we're going to uphold principles of democracy, that we're going to sort of completely overlook the fact that 2,500 people do not acknowledge Dr. Lisa Anderson as the president of this university anymore.
Do you think the Board of Trustees will approve this referendum result?
Well, I think the Board of Trustees are very reasonable people, and I think they're going to understand how grave the situation is going to get if they don't. And I think that they'll realize sort of that the community stands in solidarity with what's going on. So yes, I think that they will. I have hopes that they will realize this before it's too late.
And are you getting any legal advice of the process you're going through?
When it comes to legalities, I don't think we have any legal issues to be worrying about. We're not really at that point yet. We're at this point. We just want to talk to the Board of Trustees.
You're asking the president and the vice president
and the cabinet of the president to leave.
And after they leave, do you have any plan or suggestion for someone to take?
We're very logical people, and as long as the Board of Trustees will see when they come, if we're talking about how they're going to leave, the conditions on which they're going to leave, these are things still open for debate. But
so do you recommend anyone to handle the issues after?
Not really. At this point, I don't think this is where we're at. It's the fact that they are the leaders of an academic institution, and you can't have leaders of an academic institution that upholds and promotes values of integrity and has that in its mission statement, and have them constantly and continuously misleading the community.
So what's your clear plan after this moment?
Well, what I know for sure is that over the next course of 7 days, we're going to be escalating to a point that will get the Board of Trustees here and talking to us. This is what I know for sure. All our decisions will be reached through consensus and through discussions and through so that we can reach something which we all agree on, so that we can stay as one unit, and so that the solidarity will continue to be there. So I can't speak on behalf of everyone. What I do know is that things are going to be escalated over the next week.
And what if the administration calls for meetings or talks?
Well, at this point, we're not talking to the administration. It doesn't make any sense for us to talk to the administration. We no longer approve of them, and after the referendum, we really don't see them as the leaders of this university. We want to talk to the people that hire the administration, the people that are accountable for this administration does. And we want to contest the fact that the board are at this point that we are stakeholders, and we sort of need to have a say in how things are going on in AUC.
Will you attend the next meeting, which will be on Monday?
The forum, you mean?
Yeah, I
I don't think so, but then again, that's open for deliberation. But I don't think we'll talk to anyone before the Board of Trustees.
Why didn't you get, for example, experts or people who more do understand finance or economics, and let them talk with the president, for example, in the forum next Monday?
Why talk with the president? I don't need to talk with the president. With all due respect to everyone, I don't by no means need to talk to anyone.
Why?
Because I have the documents. I have no one's answering my argument. Actually, all they're saying basically is that we have wrong information, but that's not answering our questions at all. So I don't really see any urgency in talking to anyone from the administration, as you don't really talk with someone about the fact of why did they withhold certain information, why did they mislead a whole community, why did they not understand that the repercussions of their decisions have an echoing effect on each and everyone's life. That's really something you don't really talk about. The time for this administration has gone. We need to start understanding that it's not a point of that we need to sit at a negotiation table. They're not the decision makers, and hence we only want to speak to the decision makers.
So you said that you got these documents from the internet, the fact book. Do you think the administration will post anything that can be inaccurate?
No, we're not saying that the document is inaccurate by any means. We're saying that we are comparing the fact book to the document we find. And we are saying
Where did you find
we are
this
comparing this on the ERI, Economic Research Institute, which is a website that publishes the non-profit organizations' budgets, and where it got its information is from the IRS, which is a federal institution in the United States of America.
And Ernst & Young, it's one of the biggest auditing firms in the world.
Yes.
And it's checking everything after the balance sheets and everything. So in other words, you're saying, for example, it's not accurate, or maybe they approve something not that accurate?
We're not really on the same page here. We're not contesting the document that we found. By all means, actually, this is our evidence. We're contesting the fact that the administration has made many different statements on their behalf, which is not in alignment with this document. So do you get me? So it's not that we're questioning what Ernst & Young did. Actually, the administration sort of did that, and we're not sort of questioning anyone that the document by any means. What we need to establish, because there's a lot of fallacies about what the student union is saying. Basically, we're not sort of alleging in any possible way that this document is not true. We're saying that the administration has withheld information within this document from the community. And we're saying basically that over the past week, the administration has given 3 different response to this document, which is very strange basically, because it shows that there are sort of contradiction to discrepancies between what they're saying and what is actually there in the paper.
Do you have the response of the administration?
Well, I don't have the documentation on me at this point,
Have
but
you
what I
remember
do,
what,
but I do know, yes, one of them said that there was an operational deficit. However, that we were never told that there's an overall. That we were told that there's an overall deficit that is documented in emails, and it was never told as an operational deficit. So basically, didn't know that we had 14 million, dollars that either went to the endowment or went wherever. We had no idea that they even existed. So that's the one thing. One of them said, and this was by a high-ranking official, that Ernst and Young, we don't what the SU did wrong about this document is that we didn't consider the fact that Ernst and Young does not account for the depreciation value, which is completely untrue. Another one was the fact that which the university had sent in the news at AUC, that they made surplus, and everyone knows that they made surplus, and they were very out about the fact and loud about the fact that they made surplus. These are 3 different things, 3 that are completely in contradiction with each other, and then it raises certain questions regarding the credibility.
You said yesterday that it's an artificial deficit. What do you mean by that? Is it a common term to use?
I honestly don't know, but what it is an artificial deficit. So basically, the university is not making money. The university is making a conscious choice of not using a certain percentage from the endowment to cut through the deficit. So, and to make the conditions of everyone better, to make AUC thrive. We will say that this is the argument that's used is that this is not sustainable and we can't keep taking from the endowment. However, literature shows and studies show in other universities that this is perfectly fine. And there are different ways into dealing with the fact that we have a deficit other than what the university is doing, what the Board of Trustees is choosing to do. That's set aside the fact that the Board of Trustees are mismanaging the investments of AUC. The returns of the investments are very low compared to the investments we're making, so it doesn't make any sense. So yes, this is what we mean by an artificial deficit. We don't have to be in a deficit. The administration is choosing, and the Board of Trustees are making a conscious choice of putting the AUC community in a deficit.
What made you look for these documents?
That's a very interesting question. We weren't... it fell by chance. We were basically looking in general. We weren't really looking at the idea of impeaching the argument of the deficit or sort of blowing the cover. We were just making a bit of research, and someone accidentally found it. It wasn't me actually who found it, and someone accidentally found it and sort of came out to us with it.
Did you check with any financial professor
Yes,
on campus?
as I said, we did. However, the professor sort of wants to keep his name undisclosed.
Why?
Well, we should ask the professor about that. It's not me, but I think in this very harsh and...
I mean, if he's sure that the AUC
He's actually
is
sure,
betraying
but
the
this is
press.
not the problem. The problem is that the administration may take, how can we put this, certain measures that will sort of compromise his career.
Thank you so much, Nadine, for being here today with us. Thanks all for watching, and see you next show.